Good morning, students. In the previous video, we have discussed about industries on the basis of raw material, capital investment, ownership, etc. Now, in this video, we will discuss about agro-based industries. We know that agro-based industries are those industries that depend on agricultural products such as cotton, sugar, jute, and woolen textile industries, etc. Let's discuss first about textile industry. Textile industry is the only industry in the country which is self-reliant and complete in value chain, as it contributes significantly to the industrial production, that is 14%. It provides employment to generation and is the second largest after agriculture. It contributes 4% towards GDP. It helps in the earning foreign exchange, that is 24.6%. It is only because of textile industry. We will study about two textile industries in this video, cotton and jute textile industries. Students, as I already told you that textile industry is self-reliant and complete in the value chain. Here, self-reliant means it do not depend on other industries from the origin to the final products. So students, let's take a look on a flow chart and understand the concept of self-reliant and value addition. Firstly, cotton as fiber is produced and it is converted into yarn by spinning. Fabric is made by the process of weaving and knitting. Then dyeing and finishing of the fabric is there, and after it garment is ready. In this whole process we are self-reliant. It also does the work of value addition because we can earn money by supplying raw material, yarn, fabric and even finished garments. So we are complete in the value chain. Now let's discuss about cotton textiles. First successful cotton mill was established in Mumbai in 1854. In ancient India, cotton textiles were produced with hand spinning and handloom weaving techniques. But after 18th century, power looms came into use. Power loom here means a machine that is operated by electricity, steam, etc. Even our traditional industries suffered a lot during the colonial period because they could not compete with the mill-made cloth from England. Till November 2011, we were having 1946 cotton and human-made fiber textile mills in the country. About 80% of these are in private sector and rest are in public and cooperative sectors. There are several thousands small factories with 4 to 10 looms. Our cotton textile industries are limited in Maharashtra and Gujarat. The reasons for this: number 1, raw cotton is easily available in and around that area because of black cotton soil. Market is also available for this. Availability of transport, including accessible port facilities for export of cotton goods. Cheap and skilled labor is available around that area. Favorable moist climate is also one reason for this. Students, do you know textile industries are the supporter industries because it provides a living to farmers, cotton wool pluckers and workers, those who are engaged in spinning, weaving, dyeing, designing, etc. It is supporting other industries also such as chemicals and dyes and packaging materials. Now we are going to discuss about spinning and weaving. Spinning is centralized in Maharashtra, Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, whereas weaving is decentralized to incorporate traditional skills. Means spinning is done only in Maharashtra, Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, and we have already discussed the reason for this. But weaving is highly decentralized, means it is spread in different parts of country because of specialization of those places or traditional skills, such as Jammu Kashmir is famous for Pashmina and Banaras is famous for Banarsi sari. Means weaving is done in different parts of country. Our spinning sector is world class and we are producing best quality of yarn. But fabric produced by this yarn is of low quality. India exports yarn to Japan, Russia, France, etc. That's why we have a large share in the world trade of cotton yarn, that is 1/4 of total trade. But students, our trade in garment is only 4% of world's total. No doubt our spinning mills are of good quality, but weaving, knitting and processing units cannot use much of high quality yarn that is produced in the country. So this is a first challenge in front of cotton textile industry. Now next one is power supply is erratic. Next, machinery needs to be upgraded. In weaving and processing sectors, low output of labor is also the reason for this. Cotton industry has to face stiff competition with the synthetic fiber industry. Now, jute textiles. Jute is also known as golden fiber. India is the largest producer of raw jute and jute goods. It stands at second place as an exporter after Bangladesh. The first jute mill was set up near Kolkata in 1855 at Rishra. Most of the jute textiles are located in West Bengal, mainly along the bank of Hooghly River in a narrow belt. The reasons for this are: number 1. Jute is grown abundantly in adjoining region of West Bengal, Assam, etc. So, the raw material can be obtained easily from the nearby areas. Water is a pre-demand for jute industry. Hooghly River provides adequate water for this. Hooghly River provides cheap means of water transport. It also provides cheap labor from West Bengal and adjoining state of Bihar, Odisha and Uttar Pradesh. Kolkata as a large urban center provides banking, insurance and port facilities for export of jute goods. It also works as supporter industries as it provides employment to 3.7 lakh workers directly and another 40 lakh small workers who were engaged in cultivation of jute. Many more people were associated indirectly. But still, it has to face many challenges, such as there is stiff competition in international market, especially from Bangladesh. This has also led to decline in industry. The synthetic substitute for jute are giving tough competition to the jute industry. No doubt, internal demand has been increased due to the government policy of mandatory use of jute packaging. But for this, there is need to diversify products. Now, National Jute Policy. In 2005, National Jute Policy was formulated by government. The main objective of National Jute Policy were: number 1, it had increased the internal demand for jute by making it mandatory use of jute packaging for farmers. Its main objective was to increase productivity, improving quality, and ensuring good prices to the jute farmers. Now, sugar industry. India stands second as a world producer of sugar, but it occupies the first place in the product of gur and khansari. The raw material that is used in this industry is bulky, means heavy, and when it is transported, its sucrose content reduces. Now question is, what is sucrose content? It is a content in sugarcane which maintain the sweetness of sugarcane. In 2010-11, there were over 662 sugar mills in the country spreading in different states. 60% mills are in Bihar, Uttar Pradesh. Sugarcane industry is seasonal in nature, so it is ideally suited to the cooperative sector. In recent years, the number of mills are increasing in the southern and western states, especially Maharashtra, because the sugarcane produced here has a higher sucrose content. The cooler climate is also favorable for this. Moreover, the cooperatives are more successful in these states. Now, challenges which our sugar industry is facing. Number 1, seasonal nature of industry. Number 2, old and inefficient method of production are used. Number 3, transportation take a lot of time to supply the sugarcane to factories. Next one, maximize use of baggage is also a challenge. Means we have to extract the sugar content properly. So student, this is all about agro-based industry. Rest we will do in the next video. Have a nice day.